a journey.
Doing the opposite of what you just said. So, you know, being a leader, there's lots of leaders on this team. There's a lot of silent leaders and some guys that like to talk, but you know, me, I just go out and perform. That's the way I lead this team.
He's our leader. He's like my General Patton. I'll follow that guy anywhere. If he runs in the wall, I'll run right behind him. And if he jumps off a cliff, I'll probably hold his hand.
He's like one of us. That's what's funny. Is everyone, you know, he's up for the Heisman and all that stuff, but we know him as little twerp on our team. He's just a little fun guy to mess around with. And actually, last night, me and him were wrestling all night.
But on New Year's Day, there will be no messing around as Plummer and company face an Ohio State defense that was second in the country against the pass. Junior quarterback and Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, Sean Springs, is looking forward to the challenge.
He can make so many things happen, and not just Jake Plummer, but Keith Poole. He's a great receiver, and everybody talks about him. So, and if you want to be the best, you have to go up against the best and see where you at. You know, if I win, then I'm the best. If he wins, he's the best.
You the best?
I think so.
And welcome back inside the aquarium here in New Orleans, across from the Superdome. Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit join me. Has to be kind of a helpless feeling, guys, for the Sun Devils. They know that regardless of the outcome of their game, they're going to have to watch this game on Thursday and see what happens, because Florida State has a healthy lead in the polls. They have all but 5 of the first-place votes. So we're projecting that if they win this game, they will be the national champions for the second time in 3 years, or 4 years, I should say. Arizona State wins the Rose Bowl, and Florida wins this game. The Sun Devils is the only unbeaten, would seem the logical choice as the national champion. But what if both favorites win? Florida wins and Ohio State wins. We're left with no undefeated teams. That's how the poll points stack up right now in AP. In the coaches poll, Florida has a 70-point lead, so Ohio State would have to win over a lot of folks with a big win in the Rose Bowl to have a chance at the national title. But they have a lot of other stuff to worry about besides the pollsters in this game.
Well, there's a lot of talk right now about the Ohio State offense. It's not that it's been struggling, it's the changes with the coaches. You have an offensive coordinator who's taken a job at Arkansas State. The quarterback coach, Walt Harris, has taken over at Pitt, so maybe their focus is off a little bit on these head coaching jobs. But you have to understand, Mike Jacobs takes over. He's the offensive line coach. He is now the coordinator. He was a 9-year offensive coordinator under Don Nalen at West Virginia. Very capable, but he inherits an offense that in the last 7 games has been struggling. They're 150 yards off the first 4 games. So whether or not he can take this offense and go in the Rose Bowl, we're going to have to wait and see.
You know, speaking of offense, everybody talks about Arizona State's offense. Rightly so. But the defense has carried them in the last 4 ball games. In the last 4 ball games, the Arizona defense has allowed only an average of 10 points per game. But here is the amazing stat. The Arizona State defense in the last 4 games in the second half have allowed zippo, no points. That speaks well to the physical conditioning. And Chris, as you know, I've been questioning Ohio State's physical conditioning in the fourth quarter all year. I'm telling you, advantage Arizona State all season long. I've said it.
And they love you for it.
Yes, well, that's all right. We'll see what happens.
We'll talk more about the Sugar Bowl, other bowl games when we come back to New Orleans a little bit later on. Let's go back now to Jack.
Thank you, Chris. Still to come on Sports Weekly. Where have you gone, Mr. Robinson? To the injury list again? And is the kid all right? Why did Dallas dump Jason? We're with you till countdown at noon Eastern.
Cordell Stewart stands in the wings for a starring role. Countdown has a lowdown on Pittsburgh quarterback tandem. And we'll profile 49er head coach George Seifert. Taking over for Bill Walsh, Seifert has enjoyed a storied career in San Francisco. Join yours truly, Chris Berman, along with Tom Jackson, Chris Mortensen, and Sterling Sharp. NFL Countdown later this morning, noon Eastern.
Thank you, Chris. Blood flows in the gutters. The Jets, worst in the NFL, not to mention the AFC East, new coach next year. The Raiders, tied for last in the AFC West, new coach next year. The Giants, Lions, Saints, all last-place finishers, new coaches next year for all of them. And that isn't all. There are a lot of bodies strewn around the fairgrounds, thrown off the horses of the coaching carousel.
The success that Carolina had against us this year, and the success they had along with Jacksonville this year has made everybody think, well, gee, you know, why can't we do it?
The ownership and management of this football team feels pressure to win as quickly as we can. The dynamics of the NFL have changed dramatically in the 90s. Success does not come to those who wait. On behalf of our fans, we cannot nor will we wait.
The interesting thing is my boss at the time with the Rams, Tommy Prothro, in 71 and 72 put together a great young football team and was fired. And then Chuck Knox came in the next year and took great advantage of that.
We're going to take a lot of responsibility because he's the head coach, but it also has to fall upon the players' shoulders, and also it has to start from the top on down.
It's a very tough time, but I appreciate the players that played for me, and had a good time while I was here. It just didn't work out.
I've been saying from week one, coaches coach, players play. And you can't put all the blame on the coach and his staff because we have to go out and execute.
When a psychologist has more to do with the draft than you do as a head coach, to me, I have a problem with that.
In most organizations, you will have some friction between the personnel director and the head coach.
Why should it be a fight? You know, why isn't it a discussion? All it is information that you gather, and then you have the ability as the personnel director to listen to all that, and then you put, you know, that player where you need to be.
Against Miami, we looked like we had some players. Against Dallas, we looked like we had some players. Against Detroit, we looked like we had some players. In the games that we lost, we didn't look like we had good players.
When it gets down to it, you got to look at it and say, hey, you didn't get the job done.
A lot of stuff in the press all year, you know, about his respect factor with some of the guys.
I mean, there's always certain people that are not very disciplined on this team.
When you don't respect the guy you're working for, it's tough to go out and play this game. This game is hard enough the way it is.
It's just the fact that we didn't win enough games, and that's really, like I said, the bottom line.
Don't feel sorry for me. It's a chapter in my life that's over. But I'll bleed Honolulu blue. I'm going to bleed it. It's been just fantastic run for me.
He whetted everybody's appetite around here by getting us into the playoffs more than any other coach has done. I think we all suffered from the loss in Philadelphia last year, tried to look at that as an aberration, thinking, okay, let's forget about that game. We've still got a good team, and we're onward and upward, and we certainly didn't go onward and upward.
Still to come on Sports Weekly as we head toward NFL Countdown at noon Eastern. The images of sports in '96. Some ugly, some brutal, some silly, some triumphant. A year of achievement and emotion. We look back. Next.
The golden age of small business has arrived, and with it, the Gold Corporate Optima Card, new from American Express. It allows you to extend payments to manage your cash flow with a low introductory APR of 8.9% and a credit line of up to $20,000, all with no annual fee. It's the perfect match for today's small businesses. The Gold Corporate Optima Card for the golden road to your success.
Remarkably enough, the same engine that's used with the Indy 500 powers the all-new Infiniti Q45 luxury performance sedan. And if the new Q45's engine can compete on the track, imagine what it can do for your commute.
Welcome back to Sports Weekly. In his look back at the year in sports, Dick Schaap compares and contrasts two of the more compelling personalities who put a glow on things.
1996 was the year of the tiger in sports, or rather, the year of the tigers, the young tiger and the old. The young tiger, of course, is Woods, and the old Tiger is Ali. And while the young Tiger, with his victories as an amateur and a pro, promised us a glorious future, the old Tiger, igniting the Olympic flame, reminded us of a glorious past. The young Tiger pumped the air with his fist. The old Tiger fought to steady a shaking hand. The young Tiger's father says his son is going to change the world, make it a better place. The old Tiger, I think, has already done that. Like all his friends, I worry about Ali sometimes, but I worry about Woods, too. I hear he is making himself inaccessible, aloof. The old Tiger could teach the young one something. Ali has never been inaccessible, never aloof. He has always walked among the people, even among the media, sharing his words and his feelings. Otherwise, it is very difficult to change the world, even for a Tiger. Jack?
Thank you, Dick. Interim means forever, and $8 million a year is an insult. Young players rehearse ways to diss opponents more than they practice foul shots. Then there are the shoe deals. So much of sport and sports news is about the stuff that just doesn't matter. What matters is the moment and an athlete's knowledge that this moment either can be his or will be lost forever. What matters is the glimmer in the eye, the pang in the heart, the goosebumps on the neck. Here now are some of the moments, the triumphs and the tragedies we have shared in 1996.
The New York Yankees have won the 1996 World Series. After a 2-year absence, the Chicago Bulls have regained the NBA throne. And the Cowboys win another Super Bowl title under owner Jerry Jones.
The Colorado Avalanche are the 1996 Stanley Cup champions. The new WBA heavyweight champion of the world.
Has just gone over the 2,000-yard mark for the second consecutive year. Congratulations to Steve Eisenman, goal number 500. Howard Chuck number 500.
The Bulls do what no team has done before.
3 straight U.S. Amateur Championships for Tiger Woods.
Ernie Irvin, he's back in victory lane.
Just don't take it for granted, because you never know. Tomorrow's not promised to any of us.
If the tractor trailer is going to put it in overdrive, he needs to tie those shorts up a little better. Didn't take the gas man with him, but he's got that gas can. Hey, Sergey, how you doing? I think he ought to put that on his Christmas card this year.
The police were down there, and they're there once again, and look what happened right there.